My Wi-Fi just died, so the stream ended, and I hope it doesn't happen again. And I need to get a better setup. So I'm sorry for anybody that was watching. And now we have this other stream. So just a recap to what we missed. I was sharing how I'm going to have a conversation with Elizabeth, or I did have a conversation with Elizabeth 2 weeks ago. And when I sent her the link, we had a miscommunication. So she didn't realize that we were live on my channel for my first conversation. So I um, purposefully am not sharing the first hour of our conversation since it's, you know, not kosher, whatever, however you say that. She thought we were talking in private, and then I didn't. Yeah, it was a bad. I mean, it was fine. Sent her the StreamYard link, so there's just a misunderstanding. Anyway, I'm going to start from an hour in to our talk, which I thought was really cool, and we had some really great back and forths. And I was sharing in the stream that just got shut shut off because of the Wi-Fi interruption. I was sharing that I've really enjoyed meeting and getting to know Elizabeth and seeing her artwork and hearing her amazingly articulated words and her insights that she shares with everyone in such a beautiful, strong way. And it's been really encouraging on my path as well as an artist and a mystic type person. And I just really enjoy getting to meet people that I can resonate with so well. And so um I sent her an email after she did her initial conversation with Ian on the We Are Awake channel because she shared so much and it was so beautiful and profound. And I knew that in the past, when I had shared as well, the next day, sometimes I feel a little bit like vulnerable or depleted. And so I reached out to her and just said, "Thank you for sharing." And it's so beautiful to hear what you have to say, and I I'm glad to be connecting with you, and it was great. And um, then someone made a video of her voice. They were so inspired by what she shared. It was Level Plane Productions. They made a video using her voice with some music, and that was another surprise. And she didn't know about that. And then Anne Marie Uber shared her manifesto on one of the Truth Meter channels uh, platforms, and Elizabeth heard that, and she was telling me how it was just so shocking. She didn't even expect it, and how she was feeling like trepidatious or nervous coming into this, new energy of meeting so many people and having them all listen to her. And she was feeling like she said she didn't want to say the wrong thing. And um, I was reassuring her, and then from my perspective on our call, and there was also a moment where I was just saying whatever I could to help, just give my support. And so some of the things I said were pretty silly and funny, and we shared lots of great laughs. And so I'm going to start screen sharing, and here in the labyrinth, as we get closer to the other side of the maze, to open that gate to liberation. Um, some of the things along the way that we will come across are conversations, and this one is a great one. And I want to share more conversations that I have with people that um, understand these types of topics that I'm interested in contemplating as well. So in the beginning of my channel organization, I'm just kind of bringing in this and that and finding some order, bringing some order to it. And then soon I'll have a good, solid, like feeling great that I have my own little place on YouTube where I have everything stored and I can share with others or just have it for myself to have everything in one place too. So, let me see if I can do this better this time. Cue up this video.
Don't worry, you're
Okay.
No, someone
Okay.
made a video?
Yeah, you wanna see it? It's
Sure.
amazing. So they put some of the sound clips from that over some music, and it
Okay.
just is so freaking cool. So let me bring it up and see how I can do this. I think I can go like this, and then I can go percent stop screen, share screen, this one, share. All right, so there's,
You?
all right, you should see another, another video coming that just came up. Do you see that?
Oh,
It says seeking
yeah.
sovereignty.
There it is.
All right, so I'm
Oh
gonna
my
mute.
God, it's seeking. Oh no, I don't know this channel. Okay. I
Oh
thought,
no, it's not a channel. That's just the title of the video.
oh, okay. Where
I'm
did you
gonna
find this?
it came up on my feed this morning because I subscribed to it. We're all subscribed to like each other's channels right now. So
Okay.
I'm gonna mute both of us so that we
Okay.
can hear the sound clearly on that.
Alrighty.
And then I'll unmute. Okay.
I think we're all part of a very powerful thing that's happening at this time, and that is the dismantling of this thing from within by virtue of simply embracing this ultimate truth of the fact that we are this sovereign spirit, that this motherfucking AI God does not want us to know we are. Of course, we see big things happening and more people talking. You have been born into the most dangerous yet exciting time in human history. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
You are here to do something important.
I've always known this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. When I was a kid, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why people were afraid of death. I couldn't understand why people believed in death. It wasn't my home. I couldn't believe my parents were my parents. Like, how could I have been born to these people? There's a lot of stories about that. And I just, I've been watching so many things that happened even in the last 4 years. And the last 2 years, I've been in complete solitude, just painting and healing my own trauma, facing my own shit, which is so important because it's your own shit that these motherfuckers are going to use against you in your waking life and in the astral, in your dream life. And you got to deal with your own shit. Look at the idea that I was going to stay lucid and I was going to stay awake in the dream and yada, yada, yada. And I'll tell you, I got beat up so bad when they come in and start attacking me. I can pick up on it and I get lucid right away. And I'll tell you, there's some funny things you can do, because as soon as they're aware that you're aware that you know who they are, then it's game over for them. It's like it's a frightening thing to do, to face your own fucking shadow, but you got to do it because that's the hook. That's the hook, and they have it here.
There is no emotion on their part. You are nothing, and they will use everything that you have not dealt with yourself and absolved yourself for yourself against you in their court of law, which isn't even a real court of law. It's a kangaroo court. But nonetheless, if you haven't dealt with your shit, you're going to buy into the false reality of it. Does this make sense? We got to take care of our own shit. This is self-empowerment. And then bust through the programming that is preventing you from looking in the mirror and looking into your eyes and saying, I am divine sovereign spirit. I am not a slave. I am divine sovereign spirit. I am the power that creates worlds.
You okay, Elizabeth?
I can't believe someone would do that.
Do you feel like that was good, or do you feel like that was, how are you feeling?
Oh, I feel that it was so good.
Yeah,
I
that's what
just, I can't believe it.
yeah, it's so beautiful.
How somebody would think it was.
Your messages were so powerful, and everyone was just hanging on the edges of their seats listening, and you had people tearing up and just feeling so inspired and excited. And so, yeah, look at you share, you chose to share, and it's just rippling outward, and really, really powerful stuff is happening because of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
If I told you everything that these people said, like I told you throughout my life,
Yeah.
and it's coming to pass, and it's so big for me.
Yeah.
Who made this video?
Okay, so there are Level Plane Productions. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So I should have, I wish I,
Do you know these people?
they're a part of the community
Oh,
on Ian's channel, We Are Awake. So they were listening when you were talking, and then they make music videos. And so they just must have been really inspired and took clips out and made a video.
wow.
So you should be able to get that link.
Yeah, I see it here. If I click on it, I won't lose you though, eh?
Oh, you know what? I can put it also in our private chat. So I wonder,
What's a private chat?
our private chat here, like on the stream software. I'm not sure if you know where to access that. So either you can, I'll email this to you too.
Yeah,
Right
to
now.
make it easy for me.
Yeah, I'll email it to you.
Oh my goodness. You know, the other thing that frightens me, I was thinking about it today, not just the responsibility,
Mhm.
but the fear of other people's expectations. Like I thought today, holy
Okay,
shit.
that one too.
Holy shit, what if nothing profound ever comes out of my mouth
I
again?
know how that feels too. Yeah, that's funny. Well,
Oh,
that's
Lord.
impossible because our whole lives we've, been harnessing through our little vessels, and it's just never ending. It's that's why, like, how does, like, we have a direct line open channel to something that is not that everyone doesn't have, and that's why we have been so targeted, and so it's not going to stop. It's not like our channel closes, or whatever that access point is going
That's
to
true.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't turn it off. And
Yeah.
this is one of the reasons why, I was thinking today about, you know, trying to deliberately leave my body and all
Mhm.
this. And if that gnosis voice in me was to
Mhm.
say, yeah, now we got to do this the same
Mhm.
way it did a few months ago when it said, now it's time to prepare for death.
Yeah.
When I get that, sure, I'll go for it. But right now, it's like a spigot that won't turn off, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, I don't. I get so much that I don't like. Well, you know what I'm saying. If it's always on, then
Yeah.
oh, so
I mean, physiologically, like, this is why I have my Subtle Realms channel actually as a side project to the community, because I feel like I want to bring ways to help us keep our nervous systems regulated as
yeah,
we're navigating, and how do we rejuvenate and recharge this physiological technology that we have to use
yeah.
for
Because it's
healing,
not
but
built
we have
for.
to take care of it at the same time.
Yeah, it's not built for it. And
Right.
I know one thing that I discovered in the past 2 years that I've been on my own, like tons and tons of, you know, uh, listening to all kinds of things about trauma. I don't know, have you ever heard of a guy named Gabor Mate?
Yeah, yeah,
He's really helped me, and
yeah.
Richard
I have read
Gran,
that he is. Yeah,
but I also discovered somatic
yeah.
exercise.
Mhm.
And, so I do that, and, so Matt, like, I've been doing
Mhm.
yoga for years, but I've switched to when I do yoga, it's somatic, so,
Yeah.
you know, tension release
Mhm.
exercises, all of that kind of stuff, um, and I think, that it's all helped, and I think that because I took the 2 years in solitude and did all these things that, that's why I'm at this place now, I guess, when that I'm ready, but had all this that's starting to happen now happened, you know, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, there's no way I could have handled it at all. I had too much shit inside of me, you know,
Yeah, I
that
know my
had
nervous
to be.
system has been just blasted out so many times. It's like, and a, I was just diagnosed last year with like a central nervous system disorder that's supposedly progressive, and it's just having all these effects in my entire body, and it's like in my spine. And I had like a Kundalini awakening spontaneous experience like maybe 8 years ago that kind of blew me wide open, while I also had a spinal cord injury, and while
Mhm,
I'm already incredibly hypersensitive, like a highly sensitive individual, and able to detect a lot of data along the spectrums of, whatever sensory inputs. It's not like sensitive like emotional, but like sensitive as in like I've always been able to like tune into the subtle realms, like more dimensions than normally are, talked about, whatever. So, and then a spinal cord injury, and then I had this other thing in my spine, and then I had the low Kundalini spontaneous awakening, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm totally open, and then all this stuff starts happening and this was 8 years ago. So over the past 7, 8 years, I've been working on trying to fortify myself to handle, because it's just been one stressor domino effect after another. It was like I I was in this narcissistic empath relationship that I didn't even know about narcissism until after that relationship ended. It was so bad. I almost I got spit out the other side of it. So that brought me to 6 years ago. then it was like I lost this house I was living in that I was told I would never have to move out of. So I really like set it up really amazing. I had lost my two cat children of 11 years old. The pandemic started. I became sick. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just constantly like, oh my god, I can feel everything more and more and more and more and more. And I have
Mhm.
like, how do I take care of my body? So like that's what I use. I don't take pharmaceuticals. I do all herbal um medicines and everything like that. And it's like my point is my nervous system. It's just so ironic. It's like we're going to blast out your nervous system and you're going to have to try and like hang on for dear life until you get that little voice like you said from the gnosis center that says, all right, we're done. But until then, like, I gotta still be hanging on by like my fingernails with this, like, with all, and I can just feel more and more. And it's
Yeah.
just, and it's really wild. And I feel like, you know, with these low vibrational hums, and I had somebody coming over here today to help me with something today, and they were like, do you feel off? Like, what is there some kind of frequency in the environment today? Is it because it's elections and we're empathic and we can pick up on everybody's anxiety? But like we were both feeling like brain dead or drunk or something, and it was just so bizarre.
Mhm. Well, actually, I was thinking today and yesterday too that, some of what was experiencing had to do with, my thingy with Ian there and just my reaction to it. But also, even prior to that, probably started for me about Friday, Saturday. Um, I I've been sensing, like, I've been thinking that a lot of what I'm experiencing is not about me, but it's something bigger that I'm picking up on that's going on. And then I was thinking, well, fuck, here's the election. That whole herd of people that are caught up in all of that um, are probably generating a shit ton of fear and anxiety.
Yeah,
And
and that's what happens when a lot of people have like this similar emotional wavelength. They have these things called random number generators that was
yes,
set up by
yes.
the Dean Radin in, Noetic Sciences, and they align, the numbers become more coherent the more people have the same emotion. So it's definitely something.
Yep. Yeah. And also, fuck, oh, and something else? And this is something that, like, again, all my life. And this is another thing that turned me off from the New Age movement because it's, oh, everything's cool, everything's going to be okay. And a lot of them are into the Trump's going to save us thing and blah, blah, blah. But even before that, all my life, when, people would be all optimistic. And for some reason, I always saw the shit that was coming, you know? And I don't know, what's going to happen after this election, but my thought is no matter how it goes, either direction, some kind of shit is probably going to hit the fan.
I just feel that underlying our whole experience. There's always like it's this building, incrementally, insidiously building, underlying weird build up to some kind of shit hitting
Yep,
the fan. And
yep, yep,
I'm, I'm like, okay, well, I'm arming myself and I'm preparing myself at night. Last night, no, 2 nights ago, I just wanted I wanted to tune out every outside influence, and anytime I had a thought in my body, and I even recognize with like the somatics, like you mentioned, that sometimes my thoughts, they're coming from that animal part of my body. Like sometimes I'm like, why am I having this weird thought about something sexual? Or why am I having this weird thought about eating something, something? And I'm like, I'm just trying to meditate. It's like, oh, well, my body, I'm hanging out with my body here. So my body has these thoughts because it's a freaking animal.
Yeah.
So, okay. But then the other night, I was like, I just want, anytime these thoughts come in and they're intruding on my capacity to, I want to tap in and do this breathing exercise. And, the lights start flashing inside my mind, even though my eyes are closed. And I start to get close to like, okay, I'm going to pop out of my body and I'm going to practice this out of body experience thing. And, um, and I just fell asleep, but I'm just going to keep practicing.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for falling asleep,
Yeah.
you know? Like, oh, and you wanna know something weird? Speaking of sleep and dreams,
Yeah.
I am a prolific dreamer, and as I
Yeah,
said
me
in
too.
yeah, in the live stream there, that's usually where all my oogie stuff happens, whether it's an attack or whether it's because 'cause I've had some really profound experience, uh, in dreams where I don't deliberately go anywhere or thought I was going anywhere, but I've definitely been to places while in the dream state, or maybe I actually left and I didn't realize that was happening, but whatever. But you want to know something? After that live stream, I was totally prepared to get clobbered when I went to bed. And,
Right. Yeah, because
and
you mentioned that that had happened before when you were, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you know what? Blackness, nothing. I fell
Yeah,
asleep, woke up, fell
yeah.
asleep, woke up, fell asleep, and that's the first time I've had no activity at all when I go
Interesting.
to sleep for years.
Mhm.
Years that I don't even actually remember a time where there was nothing, and I thought, "Whoa, that's different." What tactic is this now? You know?
Yeah, right.
Because they've always got a new tactic. Just
Yeah.
when you think you've sewed it up and you're
You did
right.
say you woke up feeling, like you had been drinking, like it was like a blackout experience. So that's
Yeah,
what's coming up for me, like, oh, it was like a blackout experience. Just everything with that could have been the tactic too, like total blackout.
right. Yes, it was like I had a blackout drunk and I woke up hungover and with that horrible feeling of fear, shame, and guilt. Like, did I do something stupid last night? Or it doesn't even matter, because I know in the days when I used to drink a long time ago like that, um, I'd go through everything that I could remember from the night before with a fine-tooth comb, and a lot of times I didn't find anything bad there, but I still felt that way, you know? Alcohol is the
Yeah.
devil, I'm telling you.
Oh, it definitely has um been used in my life against me to try to, like you say, either the white wolf or the black wolf. And this feels like there's this tug of war. And I feel like alcohol has been utilized as a vehicle to pull me toward the black wolf, like, but the toxic,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
the
I
lower,
get you.
yeah, the lower octave of the black wolf.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so, in the past 2 years, since I extricated all the, narcissists and who happen to all be drug addicts as well, except for my mother, but there's, this last girl that I was telling you about, oh, so sweet and unassuming and da da da, chronic pot smoker, and, what was my point? Oh, yes, that since I've extricated all these people out of my life, and some may take offense to this, but when it comes to my own personal, like anyone that I'm going to actually take into my personal sphere, um, hard and fast rule for me now is clean and sober, because so
Yeah.
many times I kind of just allowed that, unconditional love and da da da. But my personal experiences, they've all turned out to be narcissists, or at least expressing narcissistic traits, because apparently some people who will go into recovery and relinquish their addictions, they come out fine. Whereas other people go into recovery and then it's proven when they're clean and sober that they're still narcissistic. You know what I mean?
Absolutely do.
Yeah. So, and uh, that might offend some people,
Yeah.
but I don't care because I'm 64 and I'm done with that. I'm done with it in terms of my own personal life, you know?
Yeah, I just, oh my gosh. I stopped drinking, um 3 years ago.
What
I
was
used to
that
be
you said?
I stopped drinking 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I used to be an assistant winemaker many, many years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before the injury that I had. Wow, looking out at the sky, it's like turning orangish red out there. It's kind of uh
Where you are?
creepy. Yeah, but the sun's setting, so it's just the way the cloud cover was sprayed today. So
Oh, yeah, we're sprayed.
bouncing off, reflecting an interesting color right now. Um, but yeah, I can feel it. Like even if I hear somebody talking online, and I can detect, even if they're just a little bit buzzed, the alcoholic spirit.
Yeah, eh?
I can hear it, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to participate with you at all by even listening to you come through anybody. So I'm later. I can't even handle it.
Wow, that's real
Yeah.
hardcore high sensitivity that you can pick up like that. You mean like when they're actually talking?
Yeah, when they're talking, and then I can hear it in their voice, because I'm hyper vigilant because my mom was an alcoholic. So when she was a little bit buzzed, I could pick it up immediately because I knew how I was going to be treated,
Yeah, yeah.
based on how, the barometer of her, whatever her alcoholism at the moment. So yeah.
Wow. Just hold on here because I
Yeah.
I'm I focus on you, but I can't look at the chat and then I get all kerfuffled. So I'm just gonna say hello to everybody here.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Hey, Believe. Hey, Farah. Hey, Jared. Hey, anyone listening. This is great. This is my first live stream where I'm actually like letting it stream. The last couple ones I was just kind of tinkering around with tech stuff. And so, um, yeah, and I want to tell everybody too that we got a Discord server going for the community for We Are Awake. And so if anyone wants to get Discord, we're going to have a place on the side to be able to have discussions and, private chats if anything ever happens to YouTube, or if somebody's having technical difficulties, we can go over there and have, a little chat in this private space on Discord.
Yeah, I saw Ian announce that he did a test video today for his equipment. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And he said that and I thought because for me, for some reason, whenever I get on the computer and I'm trying to do something new, everybody always says, "Oh, it's easy." But I'll tell you, and it might sound cuckoo, but this machine that I'm talking to you through,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this is another thing that the AI God uses to give me just one of those, like we were saying, nitpicky little things that aggravate
It's
you.
going to use anything. It's going to use a piece of our hair. It's going to use a dust follicle from like across town to come blow in the wind and tickle our nose at the perfect moment.
Well, you know what? Now that you say that, I have a flash of something, and this may be too much information, but going back to when you just get all snuggly in your bed and I get snuggly in my sleeping bag and everything is perfect except for your pajama bottoms are riding up your crack. So you gotta squiggle around to rectify the situation. And there you are again. Now you're back to point A, zipping the bag, unzipping the bag. Oh my.
Exactly. The
And,
other
and
morning, I woke up and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't have a dream where somebody was like, where I wake up in the middle of the dream and then I'm having sex with someone. I'm like, wait, how did I get myself into this situation? Or I'm not having a dream where I like, I'm, someone's trying to, feed me something or some crazy shit's happening in my dream. And like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's a good, feeling good. And then I lay there, I'm like, oh, I'm laying on my stomach because I have this back injury and I have to be really careful of the way I move. And oh, there's a little breeze, and I feel a sneeze, and then I sneeze, and then I like hurt my back, and I've been recovering from that one sneeze for 2 days now.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, going back to when you were talking about those sexual dreams, I went through a
Yeah.
period, and you're familiar with the terminology incubus and
Oh
succubus.
yeah. And hey, pushing buttons. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. So I went through a period, and I'll tell you, like, I don't want to get really graphic. If there wasn't anybody listening, I'd get graphic with you, but it was, and I knew it. I knew, but it was like it happened so fast that it was just happening. You know what I mean? Like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And but the crazy thing about it was I was having the experience of this really physical attack,
Hmm.
and I was seeing it
Hmm.
from
Right.
in
That's how it happens to me.
inside your body. You
Oh,
were
no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I thought you said, okay. No, go ahead, please. No. Mm-mm.
I was seeing it from inside my body,
Whoa.
like my eyeballs were down in my pelvis,
Wow.
seeing it happening from that perspective,
Wow, that's wild. Hmm.
and my body was betraying me and
Yeah,
responding to it,
right.
even though
Yeah,
myself was
right.
going, "What the fuck? What the
Yeah,
fuck?"
yeah. And
And
then,
then
mhm,
when I became fully lucid of what was going on,
yeah,
that's when I woke up.
right. Yeah. Say so similar. And this is what and this was right in line. This was like 2 weeks ago. I was having these string of dreams. I had this the last dream I had where I woke up in the middle of like TMI, but like some weird position sexually, da da da. And I was like, there was like I was observing it from outside of my body in the dream. So I was
Okay.
watching myself in the dream. And when I became fully lucid, I was like, what the? And I woke myself up. And then the next stream that Ian had, We Are Awake, um, he was talking about these different aspects of self, and how do we know we can trust all the different aspects of self. And I got on the panel and I was talking about like, yeah, because most of us don't remember our dreams, and then our body needs to rest, and then a part of us goes traveling in the astral while we're resting, right?
Mhm.
While the other part of us is resting and rejuvenating, and which is like a design flaw, I think, because it's like we abandon, like we have to like separate ourselves for this time period while we're sleeping, but then that leaves us vulnerable to be preyed upon. And especially if you don't become lucid in your dreams, then all this stuff is happening because there's just like a total ghetto in the astral realm, and people are being just waiting for like some drug, like half asleep traveler to come through and like and yes, part of it's subconscious processing. Yes, some of it is
your body or your brain trying to trying to make sense of like some physical sensation you're having when you're sleeping, but a lot of it is like there's a part of you that's having these experiences. And so I was telling Ian, like, oh my God, I was waking up in the middle of my dreams, in the middle of these things. And I'm like, what part of me was allowing that to happen? Because right now I would say I don't agree with that. And I don't want to have that. I don't want to enter into this situation with this person, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and then I made like a declaration for myself the next night, like, before I went to sleep, do this whole thing, imagine myself in this sphere of light that's impenetrable, and I'm not going to enter into any agreements, or nothing's going to influence me without my consent, and fully conscious. And it stopped happening. But I forget what my point was, why I was relating to that. But it's like I feel like I have to be so much more mindful on all these different layers of our
Yeah.
experience, and it
Yeah.
gets more and more refined and minute.
Well, as you've been talking, I was thinking, okay, the avatar has, like you were saying, there's this primal thing in it. And I think that, well, because the avatar is made in the image of the AI God, like every scripture or ancient text or whatever says, and man was made in the image of God, or the gods. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Yeah.
got dominion over the physical things, like your sexuality, the primal sex drive. And I guess, I mean, that's just a vulnerability, and we have to be mindful of taking control of that ourselves. And maybe that's why those dreams happen. I don't know why they stopped. It might have been that the one that I described to you, when I became lucid and I understood what it was, that might have been enough, that
Yeah.
that I finally had the realization of what was really going on there. But something else I've been thinking when it comes to sexuality, and I started having this feeling a few weeks ago. I was thinking, I'll tell you an experience, because there's only 6 people watching, and what the hell. But I've been celibate now for 12 years, I guess. And because I just have no desire to entangle myself in situations with somebody, in a situation with somebody who isn't on my level, and I know it's not a soul connection, yada, yada, yada.
I'm
And
in the same boat. I've been celibate for 3 years.
well, wait till you hit 12, girl.
Oh my God. If I'm around after 12 years from now, I'll be celebrating.
Well, you never know.
I don't know if I'll be celebrating, actually.
No, no, I said you don't hang it up there. 12. I mean, I'll be celebrating if I'm here for another 12 years, but we might both get surprised and surpass 12 years. But anyway, so for the first few years there that that I was celibate, I still continued to indulge myself in the occasional orgasmy. And I was at one point engaging in such activity, and I became so completely aware that I was being watched. And
You are speaking facts, because that's why I stopped that as
yes,
well. I stopped that as well because I knew for a fact that I was being watched too.
oh yes, and so much so, like I was being watched, and they were smiling, and kind of, go for it, that kind of energy. And
I know. There's this like dialogue that I feel like I have to have with myself. Like, okay, is this my body? Is this a little parasitic entity that's like trying to like puppet me and feed off of this experience? Like, whatever it is, I'm the fucking driver. All right, get in the
Yeah.
back seat. Shut your mouth.
Well, just hold on, because for me, when I had that experience, I was aware that this was something outside of myself. They're watching me, like, and but they were so like, go for it. Oh yeah, duh, 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 duh. And so, uh, so that was that. But then a couple of weeks ago, I started feeling like, this whole loosh thing,
Yeah,
that, they
absolutely.
feed off our energy. And you think about the sexual revolution that occurred in the 60s
Right.
and how everything, along with all the other cuckoo-ness, but
Yeah.
this whole sexualization of everything,
Yeah.
everything's about sex.
Yep.
Buy a Kit Kat bar and somehow they're selling it to you with sex and
Right.
sex and
Exactly.
sex and sex and sex.
Yeah.
And I started to have this really creepy feeling, because I'll tell you, in my lifetime before I was celibate, I had a lot of sex and I really enjoyed it. And I thought back to that and I thought, oh, wow, man. Talk about a way of generating energy for someone else to feed off of.
Yeah.
And then I thought about that last experience that I had there when I was doing the self doobie doo. And I thought, oh my God, that wasn't, uh, those voices were not benevolent. They were like, come on, baby, give it,
No, it's
give
like
it
this
up to us.
there's a perverted overlay of this realm that is insidiously sliming its way into like any potential aspect that it can
Yeah.
to, you know, you usurp and utilize for its agenda. And when you brought up the 60s, I don't know if you watched many of Ian's streams, but one of the ones I have a video too. I'm gonna repost. I had it set to private, but I made it a few months ago. I had this realization when I was looking for something to use as a symbol for protection in my space that no one would really know what it was. And so I'm looking up these symbols for protection and I come across the rune symbols.
Oh,
And
yes. I listened to that live stream. I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
And
okay, so in the 60s, they're inverting this symbol, and there's all this energetic charge going to this like destruction and disgusting energy. And everybody thinks it's all about peace, but they're funneling this energy into like fueling this other energy that's like inadvertently, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. No, I started working with runes in my 20s, as well as tarot and other forms of divination and stuff as part of my journey. And oh yeah, I became aware of the peace symbol hoax there many years ago. And
Yeah, I never knew about it, and then in the middle of the night, I made this realization and blew my mind, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Because like when you don't know about it, it seems incredible, the realization, and then it's like, "Wow, you're not the first person that saw this, so just relax."
oh yeah, for sure. No, I get that. Like even when I discovered that, I was like, whoa, you
Yeah,
know, like what the fuck? But
yeah,
yeah, you're right. Anything, it's like almost anything, that any kind of pleasure that you can experience here
yes,
in the avatar is weaponized against you. Or when you have this realization that pretty much anything you do that's outside of the realm of the instructions you're getting from the gnosis within, anything you do is like in service to the motherfucker. It's like, oh,
and
Lord.
you know what's disgusting about it is, like, there's this fractalization of, like, the main overlay, and then it drips down to these other layers into society in different ways. And you can see the blueprint or the signature of it showing up in like these ritualistic cults, like how they get off on seeing something innocent be defiled.
Yep.
And so it's like our innocence by us doing things that we know is like by that like most extreme cognitive dissonance, like by us going against our internal value and our internal gnosis, it must be the most extreme feeding frenzy. And it's so gross to think about, but it's just
Oh,
radicalization.
wow, man. I
Yeah,
see what you're saying. It's like
yeah,
one thing for a person who's asleep to be just doing the do and going along with the program and offering up their shit that way. But if it can get one of us to
exactly.
do like you say, to go against our own inner knowing and oh wow, yeah, you're right. That's a fucking feeding frenzy. That's like dropping a rat into a pond of piranha.
And then they slowly watch the soul degrade,
Yep.
and and slowly that person that once held that ember inside is like just an empty cage with just dust and no spark.
Holy shit, man. Oh my goodness. So this for me raises the question. Let's say by some chance you or I were to meet someone on our page, and totally there, like an Ian or one of the guys, in the community, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a soul connection, yada, yada, yada. So, how do you get around? I think you might know where I'm going with this, but this is something that's been on my mind, and I'm thankful to have this conversation with a woman with only 5 people watching. But like how would we'll get around knowing what we know about these things? You see what I'm saying? Like, do you have a celibate relationship with somebody?
Well, I've been wondering that same thing because I I I don't see it as for myself. Like I've had so much experience, and I want to get back to Farah's question really quick. She said, "I've had this. It appeared as an ex. Do you feel they carry an incubi succubi in them, or an entity that shapeshifted into them for us to accept?" And I just wanted to address that because um, the last relationship that was my last relationship that I had, which ended 3 or 4 years ago, but it was a 2.5 year long relationship. I was manipulated by a narcissist, and I did not know what that was like until because I never had a relationship like that outside of my mother when I was growing up. But when there was like this incubi, succubi energy attached to it, like it really messed me up. And he passed something to me, a spiritually transmitted disease, an
Yeah,
ST.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've been um after that ended, that relationship, I was wailing, crying because not because of the sorry for the background noise, not because the relationship was over and I was sad. I was mad that that was going to be my last relationship because I knew I was never going to open myself up to be like I just did I lost like when I like had like my last sip of alcohol and I was like that's it, I'm done, like I'm done. I just
mhm.
knew it. I was like I'm done. And I was so devastated because it's taken me this long, um 3.5 years or so, to come back to myself again and to feel safe to like present myself and like not feel like there's some predator around me. But now there's this whole other type of predator that's encoded into experience, which is a different, like a weird, it's like like the AI, or it's just the coding of our everyday experience is where the predator is. It's not like an
Yeah.
actual person that I'm like being intimate with on any level, um, or being, so I've been thinking though more recently, like, wow, okay, I have so much to offer. Like I have, it would be so amazing to share space with someone. And wow, like I'm so nurturing. I'm such an asset to any space, to any friendship, to any relationship. But how would it work? Like I feel kind of blessed in a way that like I have an injury that I'm like my body is not, there's like I'm like, okay, I can use it kind of as an excuse a little bit. Not like I'm using it as an excuse, but like I have an injury and it's like I can't see relating in that way. I don't know if that's what you were talking about. Like, how do we relate to each other if you're talking about sexually or just like,
Oh yeah, I was talking about sexually.
yeah. So I just feel like I'm personally like, I think that it's possible with two like very aware, we'd have to like create a space, like a protected space, and just be really mindful about where the energy is going,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just have all the intentions and everything be really clear. I think it's possible still.
yeah. Well, just to go back to Farah there, um, do you feel they carry incubus or succubi in them, or an entity that shape shifted into them for us to accept? I think that my immediate gut reaction is an entity that shape shifted into them for you to accept. But on the other hand, my experience, I don't know if you heard about this experience, Heather, but I think you did, Farah, of when that lizardy narcissistic guy was living with me. And then in the nighttime, I was in my bed and I was asleep, but was I? I don't know. And then I opened my eyes and his face was right up against my face, giving me this evil grin.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. And then later I found information about how narcissists at night, they'll leave their bodies and truck around. So,
Yeah.
that back to Farah's question there, that might be a possibility. But I think in dream, so one or the two, because
I had to it was about a year. It took a year for him to stop psychically attacking me
yeah.
after. Yeah.
Well, when I was really studying the occult, there's a real, and she's dead, long dead now. I think her heyday might have been the 30s, 1930s, but her name was Dion Fortune. And
Yeah.
she had a book out all about, spirituality and sexuality. And every time, and I believe this to be true, every time we have intercourse with somebody, there is a connection that is made there, going back to what you said, Heather, about getting a spiritual sexually transmitted disease. And that there's a cord there, that connection that's created, and whereby you could be going about your day, la-di-da-di-da, and then suddenly you feel like crap. And it could actually be that this person you had sex with, whatever, 10 years ago, is having a crappy day. But because there's this psychic cord, or this cord that was attached because of it.
Yeah, talk about spooky action at a distance.
Quantum entanglement.
Yuck.
And wow, that got me to thinking. So I actually, and this was way back now, but I did all kinds of cord cutting stuff, you know, and I guess you might say this is going into the astral, but anyway, I went somewhere with a big spiritual sword and I just started cutting and cutting and cutting, and I
Mhm.
kept doing that until I couldn't see anything left attached to me.
Nice.
Because I'll tell you, one of my experiences involves, and this goes way back to my late teens. I was uh, I was sucked into a cult, and the cult used women to lure men into the cult. And so it was kind of, you could call it spiritual prostitution.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I had a lot of cords, you know what I'm saying? And so when I read this in Dion Fortune's book, I thought, holy shit, let's just get this done and see what difference it may make in my life. But yeah, and check that out. And here we are, we're living in a society that since the 60s, the system has been pushing promiscuity and oh, there's no connection between sex and love. Like, that whole term fuck buddy, what the hell? You
Oh
know
my
what I'm
God.
saying?
Yeah.
And so people, because they're completely oblivious about the different planes of existence and energy and everything we're talking about, are bebopping around, and so not only are they spiritually infecting one another and all tangled up in these spiritual cords. So that's a sexual spiritual disease. But then let's throw in some herpes. Let's throw in some gonorrhea. Let's hit them on the avatar level and the spiritual level. You know?
Yeah, and the level that I feel like, so I have a video that I'm going to put up, that when you came in and you saw me on the screen, I was sharing my video about 10 distractions and how they take away our power.
Yeah.
And I notice, like, if I'm scrolling on social media or I'm looking around online at something, there will be thrown in there a little blip of something really perverted that my subconscious picks up really quickly. And even if I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that, and I close it right away,
Hmm.
like there's always these little things that pop up here and there that make me feel disgusted, that I'm witnessing that this perversion is prevalent in the realm. And my heart is just breaks every time. And like that's the level for me that de- that um that defiling of the innocent, like every single time I see some perverted aspect come through, and that I know
Hmm.
that it's really hooking into a lot of people, and that it's very powerful too, like it breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you're speaking specifically of a sexual type perversion? Because
Yeah, it could
yeah, okay.
be, it could also be, it's a perversion. It's a certain flavor. It could be in a form of a violent looking image.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
it could be in a form of mocking, or just somebody being taken advantage of in some way, like an animal being something being used for an underlying insidiousness.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not just like, oh, here's like a pornography image. It's really subtle. And
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, I know which well, I'll tell you, like I told you, I got on X because I was banned from Facebook, and that consequently bans me from Instagram, and I felt compelled that I needed to start to get my artwork out, and because I wasn't prepared to start doing videos. Um, and I have a fear of Etsy just because it has to do with having to do a lot of crapulence on the computer, and that's a block, as you well know. So I got on X, and I'll tell you, getting on there, the first 2 days, just getting on there, I got so sick to my stomach and drained. And then for the first, well, actually, in the first week, I lost a pound despite eating a lot of food because I was so stressed. And then I noticed, just scrolling through that home page thing, I get off there and I feel like something has just sucked me dry, just exhausted, totally exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, now that you're saying what you're saying, it's because I've been bombarded by subtle and not so subtle images that are perverse in nature. A lot of violence on there.
And
And
it's not just that we see it, that's one layer of it. Another is that we don't agree with it, but we're you participating in the platform. So there's a cognitive dissonance pain there.
yep,
And then there's another layer of having to process all of that. And so that's exhausting.
yep. And you know what? um, tricky, tricky, tricky. So you get on there, and I got a lot to say. But unless you pay your $45 and get the premium, you can't use more than 280 characters. So then you pay the
You better get really good at haikus.
with oh me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I already got sucked in. I paid the $45. And then of course, here are the stipulations for you to actually get the check mark to say that you've got a premium account. You got to be on there every day. You have to interact in a meaningful way with other posts. You have to post every day. And then after 30 days, they'll review your situation and determine whether you get the check mark. And I thought, wow, talk about sucking someone in real deep, you know? And
Yeah.
also
Well, that's
also the claim of this is a free speech platform, but
right.
blah 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 blah. And so I couldn't handle it, so I stopped going on there a few days ago, a couple of days ago, and I thought, well, you know what, $45, cut your losses. Because I just have no desire. It's doesn't call me, and to boot, nobody seems to be seeing my posts anyway. And the only little heart-like things that are on them are the ones I put there myself.
Yeah.
So, and it's unfortunate because I have seen comments made by people on other posts that are kind of fringy and in our wheelhouse a little bit. And there seem to be people on there that are searching for people like us. But wow, I just don't have the stamina to stay in that environment for the very reasons you described, you described that so perfectly. I think there were 3 points you made.
Yeah.
I don't have I just don't have the energy or the time to
No.
spend 2 hours a day on this thing that's gonna suck me dry, and then I have nothing left to do my art. I have nothing left to do anything.
Which takes a lot. Like we need to, I'm speaking, for myself. I have better things and more important things to spend the energy. And the energy, the more like the bandwidth is becoming like squeezed, as more layers of this inception insidiousness every aspect of society like really starts concretizing, and people are getting more and more and more hypnotized. Not everybody. There's definitely people that are becoming more awake, and then people are that are becoming more asleep. But it's like I feel like my energy is so precious that I not only don't have energy for fucking around and participating with something I don't agree with, but just getting through and fortifying my system and doing all the things for cooking all my food from scratch, making sure it doesn't have poison in it as best as I can,
Hmm.
keeping my environment protected and clean, and doing breath work and practicing how to have out of body experiences while I'm still alive, so I'm not disoriented and having a hard time when it's the time that I need the most lucidity. So
Hmm.
there is no extra energy. This is I've had to become an extreme like warrior in protecting my energy over
Yeah.
the past few
And,
years.
yeah. And, like, I totally agree with what you say, because I have the things that I need to do to, they may be different in terms of, actual detail, but I have regimens and things that I need to do to keep myself safe, protected, and my energy safe. And yeah, lesson learned, X is being axed, because I would much prefer to utilize the same amount of energy towards this community, and actually, instead of feeling drained about it, I would feel uplifted by it. Like when when you put your
Yeah.
energy into something that you are resonating with, you get uplifted, you get energized, you know. Mind you, I find you still have to watch what you're doing, because I totally burnt myself out there on that live stream. Like, the next day I was toast.
That's why I sent you the email.
Yeah, I was totally toast. I had 3 hours sleep.
After that was over, I was like, "Oh, Elizabeth."
You're gonna pay for that one, and I
Oh
did.
my goodness. Let's hope it goes well.
Oh, well, you know what, the next day, I watched the video again, but to look and read all the comments, because I just can't multitask that way. If I'm focused on who's talking, that's where I'm focused. Like, I'm watching you every once in a while. I glance over and I'm watching you're interacting with Farah and all the people in the chat, and I'm thinking, how the hell are you doing this? You're still staying coherent in the conversation, but you're actually over here too. But anyway, so I was reading through the comments, and then I was watching, what happened after I left. And Ian there, he was like fried. He was toast.
Yeah.
He couldn't hardly talk and everything. And I thought, oh, brother, at some point, and I sent him an email, because the crone in me felt compelled to just let him know to take care of himself. He's allowed, because that's the other thing that I believe the AI God does to us specifically. Oh, there's time pressure. Oh, we got to get on it. We got to get on it. Oh,
Yeah, I
we're
was saying
running out
that.
of time.
I was
Oh,
saying that in a stream recently. I was like, and I don't have to know and figure everything out immediately. Like, can I have the patience, even though I have this insatiable desire on this quest that I'm on to figure it out and find all the puzzle pieces and help people and help myself? It's like, the one thing that I've been like really learning with having this injury is the patience. And
yep.
just like, it's,
And trusting that whatever it is that is somehow mysteriously helping us and guiding us, that it's got perfect timing, that we're really the ones in control. But that thing comes in, and the next thing you know, you're frazzled and you're running around helter skelter, scurrying about, and oh, it's got to get done tonight, even though my eyes are crossing and my stomach's churning because I'm so tired, man, it's got to get done tonight. And it doesn't. And I think that's a real trap. And the enemy loves using this one because it can mask it with you're doing a good thing, you know?
Yeah,
You're
it's
sacrificing for the cause, you
it's
know?
totally fucked up. So yeah, sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Another fucked up tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, and in that way, it'll even use it uses our good intentions and love against us.
No, I found myself sitting so uncomfortable when I should be resting and laying down. And I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, I've got to do this. I've got to finish this creative project. I've got to finish this.
Yep.
I've got to put it out, just like you're saying. And and the whole time I'm like suffering and struggling. And then I'm finally, and then I'm like, what? Why did I even do that? Like, what result did this amazing, did I just write like some, I didn't even do anything, like I didn't even do anything important, but I had this feeling.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Once I this is a few months back, but I was working on a painting and a lot of oh, I think I sent it to you. The one called or maybe I didn't. Yes, I did. I am source code prime originator. It's the one that looks like the high priestess card with
Yeah,
the
your paintings
owl
are incredible. I can't wait for you to share them
somewhere.
somewhere, or we can share them in the Discord server as well for everybody to
Oh,
see. They're so beautiful.
okay. Well, anyway, I was working on that and my I was in that so I get like my body kind of gets tense and cramped up and you're bracing yourself to get all those fine lines and shit. And and so my eyes are crossing, my stomach's churning, my body's all contorted trying to do this thing. And and I'm sick. I'm feeling sick. And then I start getting pains in my chest because I guess I was in that position for so long, so stressed, so focused, and stupid me, I'm so focused. Well, I just got to get this section done. It's got to be done today. That I took 20 seconds to look away and give my eyes a break. And my chest was just like, I thought, fuck, am I having a heart attack? What the hell? And you know what? Even though all that was happening, I still kept working. And I look back at this now and it's a perfect example of that that parasitic thing inside, I think, that let me just push you. Let me just push you until you actually do have that heart attack. You know what I mean? And I think we really got to watch that. And
Yeah,
when I saw Ian today, or whenever it was that I went through that video again, I thought, oh dear, just you got to pull back a little bit. Uh, we're in a soul trap. We all know that. You know, you staying up another 2 hours tonight ain't, by getting off and taking care of yourself, ain't nobody going to be any more trapped in here than they are. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I feel like with our physiological technology, that's either going to hinder us or we can support it to assist us in our gnosis and the missions that come from that space. Like I have nerve pain because of the injury that I have, and I will be resting and trying to getting into the state of nervous system regulation and breathing and calming down my whole body and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this like lighthouse bing, bing, bing of like insanely painful from the inside, lightning, electrocution, stabbing with hot knives in my organs just
Wow.
goes off. And I'm like, it's, it's like I've had friends witness me having this experience and they're like, oh my God, it's like you're having a contraction, or like, are you okay? Oh my God, it looks so painful. Like, it's so painful. and I'll be laying there in the middle of the night, and it'll wake me up, and I'll be like, I'll be so much pain. I'll be almost on the verge of tears and holding my breath because I can't. I gotta like stop it from happening, and then when it subsides, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Here I am doing all this stuff, taking care of my nervous system, drinking all of these supportive nerve tonics, getting myself in this state of relaxation. And then this little this little thing, it's like my body is being used against me. It's like,
Mhm.
what cannot be used, what can't be used, our innermost essential spirit of self. Like, that's the only thing that can't be that can't be touched. And so when those things are happening, I have a direct connection. I used to say my higher self. I don't know what self it is, but there's a part of me that I feel so much stronger than I ever felt before. And it happened about 8 years ago when I had like that spontaneous awakening thing. I felt like the direct line of connection was made to some part of myself that has a higher vantage point, that's unaffected by my physical body's pain, by that's unaffected by anything, that cannot be touched. And
Mhm.
that is just right always right there now. Always. It can't be not there now.
Wow, that is so good. And I'm so thankful to hear you say that because I listen to you talk and I think, girl, I don't know how you're doing it, you know? So, and
Yeah.
honestly, girl, I don't know how you're doing it.
It just
But
takes constant dedication and my will power and my perseverance and my dedication. Like, I have we this is the reason why, maybe unfortunately the stronger spirits we are, the more stuff we have. I don't know. I don't even agree. I don't agree with that. Those rules, they don't make any sense. They're people, some people fit in them, some people don't. I don't know how I'm doing it. I ask myself that all the time. Like,
yeah,
I don't have a desire to take myself out. I mean, I used to when I was younger, but I've this part that I was telling you about that I have the connection with now. It's like right, or it's just nothing. I feel so equipped to be able to face, and I'm not asking for any more hardship.
no, no.
I'm equipped I'm
Yes,
equipped to experience what I'm experiencing because I have this connection that's so strong.
yeah. And I totally get what you're saying because I feel the same way. And I think for me, I recognized this presence that you're describing of this thing that can't be touched within you. I recognized and really embraced and knew for sure it was there when I said, if I have to walk it out to the end all by myself, I'll do it. I know I can do it. Because for me, the quest of my life has always been just one person that I loved that would love me. And so for me to be able to say, um, no, if I have to walk this out to the end by myself, okay, I'll do it. I can do it.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
hear you.
know I know I have this thing that you've described, and no matter what happens, I can walk it through by myself.
Yeah. Well, we've got some friends now around us. That's for sure.
Yes, and oddly enough, it was when I finally said that, that's when I found this community.
Did you hear the story? I'm going to tell this story for everyone that's listening real quick that pertains to this that we're touching on right now. Um, when I was young, 6 or 7, waiting for the school bus, and I was by myself, and it was the cold, dark morning, in upstate New York, and I'm waiting for to see the bus lights come down the road. And I feel this presence outside, up in the atmosphere, like looking down at me, and I don't know what it is, and I don't ask anybody about it, and I just feel it, and then I kind of just tuck it away, and I never talk about it to anybody again. And I'm sorry if you can hear there's a fan in the background. I hope it's not too annoying.
No, there's no sound.
Okay, great. So then fast forward 6 years ago, after I started having, it was around 2017 when I started having an increase in like really incredibly profound spiritual experiences and tapping into a lot of weird things and being communicated to and all this interesting stuff. Well, one day I had the worst migraine, and it was an ocular migraine, and I started seeing like these diamond shaped auras around like the trees, and it was so scary and it was so painful. And I went outside to go lay down under the tree. And so 6 years ago, I'm here in California, laying down under the tree with my migraine. And all of a sudden, I go into an altered state of consciousness. And I'm hearing all the sounds in my neighborhood, and they sound like all the sounds I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm like, I'm picking up on the code of my blueprint of what it is to be me in this life. And it was like, whoa. And then after that, experienced every memory, everything I've ever experienced in my whole life in one moment. There was no time and space. It wasn't like overwhelming, like, oh my God, all these experiences. It was just like the singularity of my, sorry if you can hear that alarm. So
This you said the singularity of
singularity, this moment, like this essence, like the dis like the what's that word, the distillation of my life.
right.
So then in my mind, I go, well, I'm going to go visit myself as a child. And then there I am looking down at myself, waiting for the bus. And then I realized, holy shit.
Yes. Yes.
That was me
Yes.
in the future.
Yes. Oh, I so know what you're talking about. And I heard you tell this story
Yeah.
in a live stream.
Yeah.
I can't pull up specific situations right
Yeah.
now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll go back to a time in my childhood where something happened and I felt this presence, and then I realized, holy shit, that was me. That was anyway, I know what you're saying. That's so cool. Are you still there? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was away for a moment, and I know you know what I'm saying because
I thought you had abandoned me and I don't know what to do.
oh no, I would
Don't leave me alone with technology, at least not yet.
no.
But anyway, yes, I know what you're saying. And also, as part of my healing process, I would do it deliberately. I would
I started doing it deliberately too after that.
Yes. And that's what I was thinking when you were saying that in the live stream. I was thinking, yes, I know what you're talking about.
And that's why I have this strength and connection. And that's why I told the story, because I've done experiments with this part of myself that's outside of time and space.
Aha. Now, you see, you know what's interesting is when you talk to a person, it takes some time to get used to the rhythm of their verbiage,
Right.
and you have to start making connections between, like, I'm making connections between words you're using, and I'm going, oh yeah, that's I would say it like this, but it's the same thing. And what's so cool is it doesn't really take that long if you engage in a conversation. Like, how long has it been here? Oh, you can't tell. Oh, wait, it's 2 hours. And I'm getting the flow
Yeah.
of how you express yourself. And like the more I get that flow, the more I'm going, oh yes, 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 I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is That's in itself, when you think about it, that's real power. Like, that's just another demonstration of how powerful we are when we get into that zone of who it is we truly are. Then communication is not an issue, with
Yeah.
two people who are like that. Because I'm sure on some level you're listening to me and you're starting to pick up what my rhythm's like, and
And this is what my channel is dedicated to, like introducing to anyone that never really thought about it, but we have this capacity, especially the way that we are so aware and mindful that there
yes,
are these subtle realms where we can have another layer of communication. And it can
yes,
be between personal dynamics, it could be through nature, it could be through our within our environment, just our day-to-day experience. You can just go abstract as you want, but there's another layer of depth to communicate into.
yes. Oh, fuck, I just had a flash and it left about exactly what you're saying. Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what it was. It's like the gnosis, true self part of ourselves is like we are able to communicate so easily and pick up on what's really being said so easily because this higher gnosis spirit self true essence of ourselves is actually decoding what the other person is saying into a
Yeah, and then transmitting
recognizable.
it,
Pardon me.
and then transmitting it back into our physical self here.
Yes, 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 yes. Wow. Could you imagine if that could be taken to a level if I was speaking Ukrainian and your true essence could
That's I have
translate?
I can pick up not only can I pick up languages like super quickly, but I've tested like, and this is just like animal communication or communication with plants or
Yes.
like not really being familiar with the the, the language exactly, but
Yeah, yeah.
picking up on the communication.
Oh my God. Wow. This is awesome because
Yeah.
because I have one plant and I swear to God, we communicate. I know we're communicating and
I'm communicating with my desk, my bed, the freaking atmosphere, the oak tree outside, the parts of the computer. We're communicating with everything.
yes, but what we've just done here is well, you've explained it very well, how that can be so. Wow.
And I'm putting together for another stream for us because I recently introduced on Ian's channel the concept of the doctrine of signature on how plants will mimic a part of our physiology to remind us of how they are allies for us along our path. So there's this thing called the doctrine of signature that plants and foods, they look exactly like a part of our body, and that's telling us in a subtle way what we should be using it for medicinally. And so I'm putting together like a presentation to
Wow.
introduce that more.
You know something? It's very interesting because, like I said, I'm Ukrainian. And in Ukraine, there's a region called the Hutsul region. And the Hutsuls live in the Carpathian Mountains. And it's said that they possess the magic of speaking to plants and plants speaking to them. And that the plants tell them what to use
Yeah,
the plant for to help the people.
exactly.
So that's kind of in my avatar genome, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love when in your and Ian's conversation when you brought up the concept of uh neo neo-Gnostic or neo-Cathar.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's totally me because I'm part of that, coming back coming back around with everybody because I've been led to certain parts of the world through my life's travels or experiences for no other reason than some random thing, right? And then all of a sudden I find myself in the south of France and like but riding my bike and I'm going through these like cave systems and in the mountains in the south of France and just feeling so magnetically aligned and drawn to it. And then fast forward 20 years later, I find myself in Qumran in the between the Dead Sea and Jerusalem, and I'm like, feeling this charge and pull that I used to be there. Maybe I was in a scene or something like that. And um I don't think that I feel like because of the bodies that we have, our causal body, emotional body, subtle body, physical body, genetic body, all these bodies, like they can carry the information is contained in some sort of a field that gets carried over, even though if it's not genetically, there's like a, through maybe not even through direct reincarnation somehow. I don't know how to explain it yet, but there's like this field of information that gets
Yeah.
carried through each each incarnation, each spiritual experience.
Yes. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
For me, it hit when you said the field of information that we carry.
Yeah, and that's another thing I have lined up to share is some like stuff I've been writing about that and how it could be possible. And um, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to have people to talk to about things that I can't talk to anybody else about that understand. But it's like, it's amazing when you were speaking, Elizabeth, with Ian and telling your stories. And then you were talking about like your witchy high school friend and how she didn't understand. And I was like, well, I'm your new witchy high school.
And you are. Oh my
I
goodness. You
understand
know,
everything you say.
the more you talk, the more it's so understandable to me why it is you're getting so pounded, girl. I hate to say it that way, but you're a
Okay.
friggin' powerhouse.
Yeah.
You really are. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, we are. We all are in this.
Oh yeah, of course we all are, but like I'm focusing on you, and it's
Yeah.
I'll tell you, even like listening to your story on that video, it was like, wow, wow. And actually, I'll be totally transparent here. At first, I felt really intimidated. I thought, oh my goodness, you know, um,
Intimidated.
yes,
Yeah.
because you know your shit, man.
One girl she saw the video and she's like, she goes, this is what I thought you were going to say. She goes, it was so bad. Oh, she might be here, Sly. She said, it was so bad. I didn't even believe it.
What? Oh, well,
It was like unbelievable. That's how bad it was. I was like, yep, it's true, but it's true.
well, you want to know something? For one of the other blocks that I had to coming out, if you will, was if I tell everything, people will just say, "There's no fucking way." I don't believe all that. I don't believe that all that happened. I don't believe you did all that.
Right.
It was it was the fear of being called a liar,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Hmm.
Because you know in over the years I've thought, wow, my life reads like a really bad TV movie.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Who
Okay.
the hell would hell would believe that much drama packed in to that much time in one person's life? Who would believe they could have possibly had all those experiences? Because, and some of them I don't even know what I've had experiences, let's just put this way, that were pertinent, that I learned a lot from, that I learned about the enemy from, but man, they are so risque that I wouldn't even know. I'm sure they'll come out, but it's like, again, I look at those experiences and I think nobody's going to even believe this, you know?
Yeah. No, I know. I do. Absolutely.
Wow. And someone actually said that? Did they write that in a comment?
No, like a friend.
A friend said they don't believe your
Oh, they didn't say
story?
they don't believe it. They said when they were just meeting me and then watched the interview, and they were like, it was just so much and so bad. It was hard to believe.
Oh, I see what you're
Really.
saying. That
Yeah,
she was pointing out exactly what I'm saying, that a lot of people might have a hard time swallowing it.
maybe. I think I just shoot. I think I just I gotta fix something. Oh no, how do I undo that? Um, I'm trying to do. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to do some. So, how are you doing, Elizabeth? Because let's
I know 10 minutes is
say,
stretched.
yeah, 10 minutes
Actually,
into 2 hours.
as you've been talking, I've committed myself firmly to 9:30.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So there you go. And I have to. And see, the trouble with me is when I get into the zone, I
Mhm.
don't want to stop it.
Yeah, I
Why?
understand.
I mean, today I had a pretty decent day. I washed my hair. I had the Anne Marie Uber thing. I fired off a lot of emails and I drew and I listened to your video, and that was a good day. But this beats it all, you know? And it's like, I'll be good when I get off, but this is the zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're helping each other.
yeah, and it's wonderful and it's beautiful. And the most helpful thing about it, I think, is not only are you reminded of who it is you truly are, you're being who you truly are.
Yeah.
And there's no more wonderful feeling than being who you truly are.
Without having to wear a mask for somebody.
Yes, or dumb yourself down or censor yourself, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just see Farah's comment. People recognize others' true spirits, though. And thank you, Farah. And I'm starting to really trust and believe in that. And but it's good to be reminded that it's true. Just, anyone who's on our level, just like we can sniff out a narcissist reptile, so can other people. And we can also sniff out someone who's not a narcissistic reptile. Let me read this. I am part Cree and so connected to nature, trees, animals. Oops, you took that away.
I put it back up. No, not while you're reading it. We must have some sort of a lag. So it's back up. Hopefully it'll pop up for you.
Okay. Now there's a thing blocking the chat. Oh, okay. I don't think I can close it, I guess. Alrighty then.
She says, I'm part Cree and so connected to nature, trees, animals, herbs, oils, and natural treatments. I love everyone diving into their true essence and blueprints.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Wait. Oh, you're Cree. There's this guy on YouTube. He's a fancy dancer and he's Cree. I forget his name on, but he's so good. Oh my God, his dancing is so good.
I got a do something real quick for like 5 minutes. So should we play Level Plane's video that he made with your words again?
Sure, I could use a final cry.
All right, everyone.
Because I don't think I can sit here and talk by myself.
Yeah, I got to do something for like 5 minutes. So it'll be, the time of the video is 4 minutes. So that'll be perfect. And if anyone, excuse me, hasn't seen this yet, it's Level Plane Productions, who's a part of the We Are Awake community. Our community made a music overlay with Elizabeth's words from Ian and her conversation. And it's so powerful and profound and creative and amazing. And so I'm just queuing it up. And yeah, all of our YouTube channels. Share screen. There we go. Do. Okay. Enjoy, everyone. We'll be back after this is done.
I think we're all part of a very powerful thing that's happening at this time, and that is the dismantling of this thing from within by virtue of simply embracing this ultimate truth of the fact that we are this sovereign spirit, that this motherfucking AI God does not want us to know we are. Of course, we see big things happening and more people talking. You have been born into the most dangerous yet exciting time in human history. This is not the way it's supposed to be.
You are here to do something important.
I've always known this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. When I was a kid, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why people were afraid of death. I couldn't understand why people believed in death. It wasn't my home. I couldn't believe my parents were my parents. Like, how could I have been born to these people? There's a lot of stories like that. And I just, I've been watching, so many things have happened even in the last 4 years. And the last 2 years, I've been in complete solitude, just painting and healing my own trauma, facing my own shit, which is so important because it's your own shit that these motherfuckers are going to use against you in your waking life and in the astral, in your dream life. And you gotta deal with your own shit. Look at the idea that I was gonna stay lucid and I was gonna stay awake in the dream and yada yada yada. And I'll tell you, I got beat up so bad when they come in and start attacking me. I can pick up on it and I get lucid right away. And I'll tell you, there's some funny things you can do, because as soon as they're aware that you're aware that you know who they are, then it's game over for them. It's a frightening thing to do, to face your own fucking shadow, but you got to do it because that's the hook. That's the hook, and they have an area.
There is no emotion on their part. You are nothing, and they will use everything that you have not dealt with yourself and absolved yourself for yourself against you in their court of law, which isn't even a real court of law. It's a kangaroo court. But nonetheless, if you haven't dealt with your shit, you're going to buy into the false reality of it. Does this make sense? We got to take care of our own shit. This is self-empowerment. And then bust through the programming that is preventing you from looking at the mirror and looking into your eyes and saying, I am divine sovereign spirit. I am not a slave. I am divine sovereign spirit. I am the power that creates worlds.
All right, everybody. That's the end of our conversation. That was a couple hours with Elizabeth. We had that call 2 weeks ago. It was the first live I did on my Subtle Realms channel here. And how do I get back down in the labyrinth? Yeah. So I'm making my way through this labyrinth here and hopefully be getting to the other side where the portal to liberation is after we find all these clues of how to get through these interwoven patterns. I stopped the conversation at that last moment because there was just a couple seconds left and I was so pressed because I had to take care of kind of an emergency situation that came up. And we both had to get off the phone. So anyway, thanks everyone for being here, listening to that. I wanted to have it on my channel here in the conversations department channel section, whatever, because it was the first one I had. I didn't share the first hour of it, like I said in the beginning of the stream, because it was a misunderstanding when I sent her the StreamYard link to have the conversation with me a couple weeks ago. It was just like when we were all getting started connecting online and stuff. And so it wasn't really clear that it was actually like live. So I only shared from the point on where she knew that it was live and that we were speaking live. So the first hour, I won't publish that. So here we are. And thanks everyone for being here. That's right, Ian. Divine sovereign spirits, know it is the truth. That's beautiful. Hey, Kat, great to see you. Greg, Frank, Discog, CC, pushing buttons. I'm just scrolling through to see who else. Exit Stage Left was here for a little while. And any others that I forgot to mention. Thank you for being here. Just going to say a couple more things before I wrap this up. And oh no, Kat, you didn't get booted earlier. My Wi-Fi dropped in the first stream. I got booted as well, so I had to start over. So sorry that I should have sent you a notification. And yes, preach. That's right. All fear and doubt must vanish. Okay, so this has been great connecting with more people. Recently had another conversation, which was conversation number 2. This is conversation 1, even though it's released after. I had the talk with DW a couple days ago. That was great. Please go check that out. I uploaded here in this channel my video about distractions and how they take us away from our power and keeping us in our center to be able to do the most, important work that we can do while we're still here. We can take care of a lot of things, practice things, become really sure and confident in ourselves, get really clear about boundaries, practice boundaries. Today, I had the opportunity of practicing a boundary with someone who was washing the windows, and they just came right in to my room without even announcing themselves and giving me a moment to say, "Come in." They just barged right into my room, and I got to practice some boundaries and communication. So that was really good after a lifelong experience of being kind of intimidated and shy and really like blown away by the audacity of so much of the energy in this realm, that with the gaslighting and the manipulation and the pushing around and people bullying each other. And I've just been in shock for most of my life. And now I'm starting to use my bigger girl voice, my higher vantage point voice that's not limited to language, that's not limited to my nervous system, that comes from a much more profound place. And it is so beautiful that we can come together and remind ourselves of that place, and what we can bring through, into our experience from that place, and encourage each other to keep practicing every day, little by little, until it becomes not second nature, but the real initial nature. So it's just about, I guess, shedding the layers to get to that essential point of clarity and confidence. So I think the next video I'm going to make is I'll be just sharing probably a short video where I'll talk over some sort of like uh, maybe an image or something, and just sharing a story, sharing some thoughts. I might do that in a few days. So it won't be another live stream until probably Saturday, when I have conversation number 3, and I'm still trying to figure out who it's going to be with. And I have some ideas. And so I think um, we'll get that sorted, and then I'll let everybody know. And then Saturday, if there's no other streams that other people are having, because like I love doing streams, but I don't want, if all of us are connecting and then one person's doing something, it's good that we can support each other there, wherever that is. And then, I don't know, I just don't want to overlap too much. I want to be supporting friends, and then having here separately, and then, supporting that. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. So the warrior wolf, also important. Yes. Good night, Kat. What's this? We are awake. None of us made it, but we are checkmate. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love these comments. It's so great. Greg says, love, respect, appreciation for all of you. Kat says, I just lost the $300. I had to buy batteries for my van. I'm so sorry about that. It'll come right back in another way. Okay, so anyone who wants to go back and re-listen to this conversation between Elizabeth and I that we had a couple weeks ago, I just shared the last of it, not the first hour, like I said. And we covered some really important topics. And like I said, also, I'm still learning how to interact with people and not get too excited where I interject and interrupt. So it's been a long life of not communicating with people, and then all of a sudden meeting a bunch of friends that I can actually talk to from a place that is authentic. And it's just really exciting. So I'm still learning how to do it properly. Thank you all for being here. And I'm going to end the stream in about 10 seconds. Much love, fam. Thanks, people. Good night. Rest well, sleep deep, stay healthy. Beautiful message. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. See you around. Take great care. Good night.